Why, hello there. This is Ryan with Mana Bluff in a Dragon's Maze 8-4. Ooh, what do we have here? Melek is fine, but definitely not better than Flux Charger, Carnage Gladiator, or Tithe Drinker. Those are definitely the three big O's here. With our Bronzebeak Moa, is it Guildgate, a couple Clue Stones. I'm going to take the Carnage Gladiator. I happen to be a huge fan of it, and there aren't a whole lot of sweet Rakdos cards in the Dragon's Maze deck. But if you can get the good ones, this and then the 2-drop 3/1 haste, then you're pretty set for a pretty sweet deck later on. And I just love this guy. I just think he's absolutely insane. I think maybe a more conservative pick might be Tide Drinker, Orzhov, 2-drop, and there's a little bit more open availability in the next pack. But I want to go with the fun card, so let's do it. Ooh, wow. So, yeah. That's a whole lot of love being passed here. Dang. Opposite from the pack I just opened. Someone just took the rare. Probably a nice money card there. And then here we have War Leader's Helix, far and away, Punish the Enemy, Rubble Belt Maka. And then even after that, Boros Mastiff and Vishino First Blade. I think War Leader's Helix is pretty much on par with Far and Away. Both are also splashable with my first pick, so we'll take one of these two. Punish the Enemy would be perfectly fine, able to stay on color this way. I'm not exactly stoked showing that red's going to start being cut to my left, because these are like some of the next best picks. Gosh, do I want to take Far and Away instead? This definitely has more of an upside, but I think this Far and Away tends to have more of an upside with the bounce ability, and you can still splash into it perfectly fine, just like War Leader's Helix. I think we will actually take Far and Away. It's a little bit better, and also I forget sometimes that you don't have to look at these double spells as cards that you have to fuse together, and this guy works perfectly fine just as a 3-drop black, so we're going to go there. Same thing, we're going to pick up Punish the Enemy here. There's no great creatures for us. We're passing in Fatal Fumes, which is a fine removal spell, but definitely Punish the Enemy is way stronger. I might even pick Orzhov Guildgate over it just to try to stay open to my favorite color combination, which is green, or white-black green. But we're already doing the red thing, so I'm cool with Punish the Enemy and kind of just staying on this Rakdos game plan. Just highlighting the Selesnya Guildgate. Again, versatility. If we end up going into, say, white, black, red, for example, who knows if we end up wanting that, and we're just not going to be splashing the far part of Far and Away. There's really nothing awesome in this pack. You got some Gatekeepers that don't really matter, Clue Stones that won't matter, Maze Abomination, which is going to be played in my deck, but you pick those up whenever you want, really. Ooh, Windrake's pretty good here. I'm not stoked for Blaine Alley Blackguard. I think I will take the Dimir Guildgate here, since I was looking to find a way to get into these colors. Arguably, I could go into Windrake right now, which would allow me to maybe start going Dimir with a splash of red. But I still want to try to I still want to prefer Rakdos over anything else. And I'm happy taking up Guildgates early nowadays, considering how often it is that the decks just end up being so bad when you can't play your spells. And here we're going to take the Gatekeepers over Opposite Odds Aid or Deputy of Acquittals. I'm not looking, to get into white if I don't have to, necessarily. They're not super strong to get there. And if I'm in blue, this will be fine. Actually, maybe I'll just take the Smelt Ward Gatekeepers. Yeah, I think that's better. Again, I forget. I didn't even notice them. That's how much I look over the Gatekeepers, the Smelt Ward ones, just because their ability is so lame. But since I am looking to kind of stay more Rakdos than anything else, then this is what I'm grabbing. Wow, that's a really late Boros Mastiff. It's either that or a Maze Rusher. We'll take the Boros Mastiff. See if more keeps coming our way, white. Renounce the Guild is a perfectly fine removal spell, and something that I don't mind playing. Normally sideboardable, but sometimes main deckable. But we will just take the Maze Abomination here. It's about the time when you start seeing them and picking them up. Alright, here's our pack. that we originally opened. Do I really want another Smelt Ward Gatekeeper? Not really. But I'll take it over the Clue Stones because I'm assuming the next few packs will be Clue Stones. Wow, that's a super late. So Boros is really open. And if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and take the Vishino First Blade. Because we can now jump into Boros and maybe just splash a little bit of black as needed. And yeah, I'll just take the more powerful card because I mean basically that just makes me go into a Boros build. Gleam Battle, probably not going to do anything. 6-drop. But neither is Azorius Cluestone, so we'll just take it, try to start cutting signals in case someone like me was thinking about jumping into that late. Don't really want all these those drops here at the 4, especially just gatekeepers that aren't doing a whole lot, but that's fine. We'll pick up some random boring fixing and see where we go. So white was definitely open. I mean, wow, having that First Blade and Mastiff come by, which were some of like the higher picks in that pack, means no one's really doing that. So I am going to go ahead and try and get Boros online here. But this pack will really determine it. And that's just kind of a risk I'm going to have to take right now because, I mean, I'm taking True Fire Paladin, that's awesome. Soul Ransom also really good, of course. But I think if I'm reading the signals right and no one's really doing Boros to the left of me, then I should get rewarded here and then be able to play into, you know, maybe like a Selesnya Splash or something. Mostly looking to get this Carnage Gladiator because this is actually really good in Boros, which is going to be just as aggressive as a Rakdos deck. Otherwise, I would probably be picking Soul Ransom or Grizzly Spectacle. Grizzly Spectacle being the greatest. I think this is actually better than Soul Ransom, especially because it's just mono black. We'd love for the Boros Guildgate to table, though I doubt that will happen. I'm not too sure if Far and Away will do anything at this point. Same with Maze Abomination or Gleam of Battle. But yeah, we're just taking the Paladin here and going Boros all the way. And promptly 0 Boros cards. Could take the Gargoyle. We're already thinking about splashing black, so I think Merciless Eviction is perfectly fine. Aetherize, Righteous Charge, not really stoked on. Draconic Krasis, we're really far away from doing. Nightwatch is very playable in Boros, but no need to pick it here this early. And then if I was doing the full 3-color thing, I'd just take a 2-drop or a Death's Approach or something. But I'm at this point trying to move away from black, except for a splash, and this is more the kind of splash you want anyway, if black gets splashed. Fortress Cyclops, not the best Boros card. I think we're going to take the Guildgate for our splash over a Bomber Core, which, you know, 2-drops are important in Boros, but this is not the powerful 2-drop I want, and I think it's more important to be able to have my splash on with now Merciless Eviction, Carnage Gladiator, maybe the away part of Far and Away. Yeah. So we'll do that. Spark Trooper's pretty good. Question is, do I want it over 1,000 lashes? Sadly, I do. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Spark Trooper. Normally, it's all about 1,000 lashes. I mean, Warmind Infantry is even optional over Spark Trooper. But 1,000 lashes is great, but I'm already loading up on a really hard splash. And what I need to do right now is prioritize some creatures. Although, if I start cleaning this up, let's just say Far and Away is not splashed. We'll hide our Clue Stones knowing that they're there. Really, I just need some beef in my deck anyway. But I'd rather splash 1,000 Lashes or Carnage Gladiator. Yeah, we're taking Spark Trooper. I'm going to stick with my my original game plan on that. Here we'll take Madcap skills, which is fine in the deck if we actually get some more creatures online. Balustrade Spy is fine, but not in the splash, considering we already have our 2 splash cards. 1,000 Lashes would be the other kind of card that I'd want. Ooh. So Prophetic Prism is pretty good, but since Orzhov Guildgate is the on-color gate that we want, I'll grab it here. Shamble Shark being the better card in the pack in terms of playables. Aerial Maneuver is fine, and I would like in the deck because I'm going to need, you know, some kind of tricks and stuff, but not over the on-color Splash Guildgate. Normally I'd take Scorchwalker here over, you know, Armored Transport or Basilica Guards, but But we have a lot of 4-drops. Mind you, they're kind of weak, but I might just need to play a little defender game here. Ideally, Boros is going more aggressive than that, but Extort in Boros is actually pretty good anyway. It helps you finish out. And I just don't need as many 4-drops. But then I probably don't want to play these 4-drops. Yeah, we'll take Scorchwalker. It's actually just that much better of a card. Because I'm probably going to get rid of 2 of these gates here. Or 2 of these gatekeepers here. I'll take the removal spell Massive Raid over Night Watch. Massive Raid being a weak removal spell, but still very playable. Same with Aerial Maneuver. Here's that Night Watch, which I'll pick up now over Millennial Gargoyle. Again, back to the 4-drop issue of not really needing it. Nothing here really does anything. Shield of Passage I'll play, possibly. So I'm at the point where I didn't really see the insane Boros just got 2 cards out of it, but we were able to get a little bit more of our fixing on board and a pretty strong Merciless Eviction. I still think it was right to take the Spark Trooper over the 1000 Lashes. That might change. We're going to have a pretty tough time in this next pack, but with some of our minor abilities to splash or play some black, we might get some pretty sweet Rakdos Reds. And hopefully just some solid, white and red creatures just to round this out. If I could just get the nice curve of 2s and 3-drops, prioritizing any of that, then I'm feeling okay with this draft. And we'll just have to see how that goes with Return to Ravnica. Okay, so right away we're seeing a couple of decent things here. Frostborn Weird, Splatter Thug. Really a good pack with Defensive Spear, Stab Wound, Krozda, Guild Mage. I'm going to take Splatter Thug here. Again, that's what I wanted. Just some really good cards at 2s and 3s. Stab Wound, probably... Oh, I don't know. Krozda Guild Mage is probably the best card in the pack overall. But that's far away from what we're doing. Same with Detention Sphere. I don't really want to splash into the blue. In fact, this is for sure gone. There's an option to play green. Stab Wound being a really strong additional black card we're playing. But I'm not going to pick that over an equally comparable sweet creature. 2s and 3s, here we go. Not here. Knightly Valor, though, is still super powerful and pretty awesome, so I don't mind grabbing this in the 5. Transguild Promenade I would also snatch up, or even go into another black card, especially if I might see another Transguild Promenade later. But again, if there's a nice powerful card in red or white, I'm going to prioritize that, and then keep building the deck that way. Wow, Rick's Mighty Guild Mage. Oof. I'm going to grab it. It's just that good, and it can even be a splash card that when it comes down later still does nice things. Obviously, the more black you have to make it work, the better. But the only other option I have is this Tenement Crasher. I don't really care about. Vassal Soul is good, and I do want some nice 3-drop kiddos there, but I think Rick's Mighty Guild Mage is definitely worth picking up. And here we have the Arrestor to get another 2-drop on board. Wild Beastmaster and Isperia Skywatch, good cards. Besides that, not really much else. And here, let's see, what are we looking for? Security Blockade is actually an option for me as I need more in the 3-drop slot. It's basically a 3/3. It's a 2/2 for 3, which in my deck doesn't do a whole lot because I don't really care about populating and generating tokens. Likewise, I could take another 4 or 5-drop. I'm just so filled up on them. I do think the Cobble Root is more of the 4-drop I want than what I actually have in my 4-drop slot. Alternatively, I can go a little bit more aggro with Pursuit of Flight again, but I think I do need creatures, and for curve considerations, I'm going to take the Security Blockade. It's a little bit of value with the ability to prevent damage, and just getting a 2/2 on board is kind of what I need, even if it is at like a weak point. Wow, lately of Sky Knight. We love the Goblin Rally. Here's another Cobble Root, but we're pretty low on removal. All I have is a Lamo Massive Raid, and then the Splashed Merciless Eviction. Punch the Enemy is the only really good removal spell I have. So I'll take the Avenging Arrow, even though my deck could really use Goblin Rally or a Cobble Brute, but I need more ways to get rid of duders. Okay. Concordia Pegasus is okay. After having a Knightly Valor and a Madcap Skills, I'm actually okay with grabbing it over a Rootborn Defenses. We actually have a couple of combat tricks that work. And then Traitorous Instinct is not exactly what I want, even though it does work in the deck. But we just need more creatures. Yeah, we'll take Ethereal Armor. Maybe we're doing it with just enchantments. I'm not too sure. Don't really like having more than one enchantment in my deck that could just get a me too for one. But seeing as I now have Security Blockade, Madcap Skills, and Knightly Valor, the Ethereal Armor could end up doing some decent things. And, I mean, it's not like there's anything else in the pack anyway, so we'll make that decision really as we come down to the wire with our deck building. Same reasoning with Pursuit of Flight. Here I will take Rootborn Defenses. It might just be played. We're definitely weak on creatures. I don't think any of these are getting in there, even Trained Caracal with all of our enchantments. I'd rather still just be playing another 5-drop. Don't really want to be playing a 5-drop, but such is life. Alrighty. So very interesting. A non-synergistic Boros deck. The real key is going to be how we're going to negotiate our different black spells. They're all very powerful, so I want them in there. And luckily we have at least 2 Guild Gates right now, plus our 2 Key Runes, so we should be okay. I'll bring it back in just a moment and see how that shakes. Okay, here's my base 23, and you'll notice we have a pretty wonky curve. Lots of 4s, we knew that was happening. I'm considering cutting down some of these 4-drops, but I don't have great options outside of that. You'll see it says 13 creatures. It's actually 16 because of Security Blockade, Knightly Valor, and Night Watch, just to keep that in mind. So we're not too low on creatures by any means. Here I am keeping in, of course, Merciless Eviction, Punch the Enemy. Both of the pretty mild removal spells, but we kind of need them. I want to have 4 removal spells in the deck. And then I'm choosing to keep in these 2 enchantments, because I feel like with Ethereal Armor, we might even get a really nice Ethereal Armor going, since we have 4 enchantments that we're doing anyway. The other options to note would be, here are 3 combat tricks that we have. These will be cards that I bring in right away against strong removal heavy decks. You know, Ethereal Armor and Madcap Skills and things that are going to regularly be 2 for 1. I'll come in and have some nice combat tricks against my opponent. Here we have 2 other black spells that I have in the sideboard. Both are very splashable. Maze Abomination not as much as Away. I'm not doing the far part of Far and Away. And because I feel like I'm pretty maxed out on my on 3 black cards, I really don't want to be splashing more than 3 of a color. Therefore, I don't think this removal spell is that much stronger than these other 2 removal spells, the Avenging Arrow or Massive Raid, because they're all kind of have to set up situations to make them work. So I'd rather keep the on-color removal spells than the splashed one. And I don't want to add this in as just an extra splash for no other reason. And then that comes down to my other consideration. I'm playing one of my Clue Stones for the Black Splash, so I'm going to be playing my 2 Guild Gates plus another Swamp. Also, I'm going to try something out. I happen to have 3 Gatekeepers right now and 4 Guild Gates. Normally, I'd only be playing these 2 Orzhov, of course, but I'm going to go ahead and use this Guild Gate as my additional Swamp and this Guild Gate as a tap, enter the battlefield tap planes. I think 4 is enough to kind of get to your Gatekeepers, but not enough to really hinder drawing lands that often that enters the battlefield tap, to where I'm not worried about these tapped pieces really hindering me. It's an experiment, I'm not gonna lie, we'll see how this goes, but I've got this like intuition feeling that this is gonna actually help get these value up with the Gatekeepers, but not really hinder being able to cast my spells. Not too sure about that, but I think that's what's going on. My only consideration for mana now is how many black sources I want to have besides my initial 4 to really power out Rick's Mighty Guildmage. Because Rick's Mighty, of course, gets better the more black you have. But even just 1 or 2 black sources can make Rick's Mighty really change a lot of math in combat and in the life total race. Other little notes, Bizarre Kavite pulled out, obviously a pretty weak spell, and in 5-drop slot, I already had 2. And we didn't need more creatures. Wouldn't have minded a top-end duder up here in a 6 or maybe even a 7 drop, but we didn't really get one, and there wasn't anything that I passed that I wanted for it. Yeah, so I'm pretty set on that game plan, with this being our lands. Also knowing that Orzhov Cluestone is an option to have in, but I didn't really want to cut any more spells just for another Cluestone, and I'm fine with just having one. So let's start building this. I have all the black I want. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 black sources. We're using this Guild Gate as our swamp, and that should be fine for our 3-color splash. Now, Piles Bakula. How much red and white do I actually want? We have this double red here and here, and so we're going to need quite a bit of red, seeing as we don't really have any in our fixing. So let's get rid of these, go up to 8 red sources, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 white sources already, plus 5. That gets us 8 whites, which is looking pretty good, because we have quite a bit of white, and we want to be able to play it. So I think I'm fine with 8 and 8. Yeah. It's actually 9 white sources. I might even want to go down on the plains and add in that extra mountain. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 sources plus the Cluestone. Yeah, I think I like that guy. So there's the initial build, and I'll see you in round 1.